Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to the new Sunday evening weigh-in. Truth sharing from incarceration to the boardroom, presenting AKA Money Row, from tragedy to triumph. Former gang member, hustler, drug dealer, convicted under mandatory minimum sentencing laws, and who spent over a decade in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. It's Sunday, December 20th. 2020. We got clear vision moving on. Mommy Activists is already into 2021, but we're presenting the best tonight. And Zoom and Facebook will be presenting it live. Thank you so much this evening for getting on Money Row. But I want you to know that because it's incarceration, from incarceration to the boardroom, that we want to make sure that we make it clear. It's not so important of what you were sentenced, but it's what you did with the sentence. Did you serve the time or did the time serve you? But it's obvious that we know the time didn't do you bad. You took that time and did a good thing with it. And that's what people need to know, the inside, get inside of, that incarceration for you, because people don't know the ins and outs of all the things. So I welcome you onto the call. And we want to start with when you're doing that time. How much time were you sentenced with the Federal Bureau of Prisons under mandatory minimum sentencing?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was sentenced. Hello, everybody. I was sentenced to 120 months and 60 months supervised release.
And 120 months is how many years?
10 years.
10 years. And you had supervised release. People don't realize when you get out, you still got even if you bring it to the door or you do your 85%, they're going to still hitch 5 years or something onto you for what they call no more parole or probation. They called it supervised release. So tell us, what was your time like during that time in that 10 years?
It was a journey because I was kind of young. I was about 20 years old at the time. So, and I had already, I was already going through some things in my life prior to that. But, on that journey, I had to learn how to be with myself. I had to learn me. I had to know me. And I got to really know who I was. So it was a journey of like self-reflection,
Right. So you were in also, during that 10 years, everybody works on stuff, on their, exhausting remedies. What things did you file? I know you must have filed an appeal no matter what.
So the thing with my situation was I was locked in with my sentence because I was sentenced as a career criminal. So what I actually copped out to was 188 months to 235. So, but prior to the judges having discretion on sentences, I would have been stuck with that 15 years.
Right.
But they had discretion to alter sentences, alleviate from the guidelines and stuff. I was able to get 10 years.
But I mean, as a guy being 20 and you're already labeled a career criminal, I mean, you were busy doing things. But if it wasn't mandatory minimum sentences, do you know what your sentence might have been?
I probably would have got about 6 years.
Yeah, because the mandatory minimum puts a different ball game in other words, and you were given more time. So how'd you, since you couldn't work on your sentence, you didn't work on any remedies for reduction of sentence or anything like it, you couldn't work on it?
I tried to do anytime they changed anything, anytime they came out, because when I copped out, I was able to reserve the rights that I thought that I was going to be able to have, whenever anything changed. But because I was locked in with the enhancement for the career criminal, it didn't matter what changed.
Right. Career criminal, because that's strong.
It didn't matter if anything changed. It would have to be like a drastic change. Like I was sentenced to 100 to 1. So it's different now. But when I was sentenced, it was stern, firm, and that's what it was. And then they have this thing that they call the guidelines. So there's categories, and then there's levels. So right. when you're a career criminal, you're automatically brought over to category 6, and
right.
You start at 34.
Right.
So you're like in an outrageous range just to start. So that's how I was sentenced at the time.
And so when they fill out your PSI, that makes your numbers what they are, and that automatically puts you, for people don't know, there are strict guidelines that mandatory minimum put in. You know, a lot of people began to get life on something they may have got way less than 5 years, or maybe way less, I should say, than 10 years, you know, because that came into the crack cocaine and, you know, the crack laws and the crack things. So they also did a reduction of sentence, like a 2-level reduction at one point, that let people out. But if somebody had a lot of time, it didn't mean that much to them. And it only helped a few people with that. You had 100 to 1, they changed it to 18 to 1, you know, so none of that would affect you, would it?
And
Yeah.
it wouldn't help me at all. I was just stuck with the 100 to 1.
Yeah. So while you were in there, how was your health and things like that while you were in there?
When I was in there, I took the time to really take care of myself. Like I had stopped eating meat at one time.
Mhm.
You really get to know yourself in there. So like I got into health like a lot. I was eating more for energy than for at the time, you know, and I was trying to change my lifestyle and get into a healthy lifestyle.
Right.
I'm not really following that right now, but you know, I was somewhere else. I was in a different space then.
Well, at least you had the knowledge, you know, with the knowledge, you can work around it and work things. And of course, when you get home, you have more options and more things you can get to eat and more things you cannot do other than exercise or things like that. So when you were in, by you being 20, you know, did you take classes or anything like that where you were in? Tell us something about that.
Prior to that, I was striving to get my GED, even though I was involved in the streets. I'm still trying to educate myself, and I've been educating myself my whole life. So, when I got there, I was ready for it. So I went in, I got my GED, and they had different classes. They had real estate classes that, you know, some of the other inmates were teaching, and then they had college. I took small business for a little bit, but I just didn't have the money to continue to fund it myself. So
Right.
I put it to the side, and I really didn't get any credits or anything. So I did a little business thing. I did a whole lot. I did culinary arts. I got certified for custodial stuff. I did a lot. I took my time to build myself.
But, you know, being in like that, you took a lot of classes that would allow you some kind of, you know, occupation when you got home. You know, they used to say in the feds that whatever your occupation in there, like people were, which is not true though, whatever your occupation there could be your occupation on the street. Like if you were in maintenance and you kept a unit, they say when you got home, you could do floors because you know how to strip, you know how to use the buffers and stuff like that. That was years ago, but now they have new things, polyurethane and things like that they're doing in prison too. But nobody needed to know how to make mail bags and license plates because that wasn't going all over the states. But you had, the main thing was mail bags and government furniture and things like that. So when you were in, most people make a business plan. Did you try to do a business plan or something like that for your future return to the street, to the free world?
I had all. Listen, when you're in there, you got a million and one ideas, and you're just gonna go do this, you're gonna do that, and you're just gonna change the world. Like, but nah, like I had a few different plans. Like I've always been into like people, so like I've come from a bad start, you know, coming up. So I always wanted to reach out and help those type of people. And I always try to help people that were in a similar situation to me.
Right.
One of the things that really helped me out a lot was music, you know? So I put a lot of time and effort when I was there into that too. Can I give you a story real quick?
Please do, please do.
They have quiet rooms. This was when I was in Fort Dix, New Jersey. This is a FCI. It's like a low medium, and I used to sit in the quiet rooms because that was the only place where I could like get peace to write. And I used to write, and I would go over religiously over my music, and I started noticing people standing and watching, and it got crazy. Like after a while, people would literally come looking for me just to hear what I had to say. So after a while, at first, I used to doubt myself. I didn't think that, you know, I was good enough. So after a while, it was people that didn't even listen to the type of music that I was, you know, expressing myself with. And they were like, yo, you're going to make it. You're good. You're good. And I started listening to that. And I started working harder and harder and doing different things and challenging myself. And And that's what I really did for the most part. If I wasn't in class or I wasn't doing something, I was in there writing, you know. So, and that was my outlet. That helped me to express myself. That helped me to take my mind away from the time, you know. But
And so being in like that, with what things that you wrote, what was the first step when you came out?
I think I took the wrong step when I came out.
That's
I didn't follow my path. I went somewhere else because I have a good heart and I care for people. And there you have a structure. So you're always in structure. So when I came home, I wanted to keep structure, you know. And I tried to do, instead of going and pursuing my dreams, I tried to pursue a family because I never had a family. So I wanted to do that instead of really go jump out there and go into and chase music, you know?
right. And so,
So I ended up getting married. I had a baby. Um, started working. I was doing different things. I actually just really was living a normal life, you know, and for the first time, like that felt good to me. But I still had the hunger and the desire and the urge to want to do this. And I felt like when I did that, I put that to the side and it kind of took something away from me. Like I felt like I missed out.
right. So did that reflect in your music at first?
Oh, it reflects in my music right now. You know,
You know,
so
I'm saying at first coming out, you know, how'd you feel about revealing that? You know what I mean?
um see me when I've always been an open book. Like I'm not afraid to express myself. Whatever's on my mind, I'm gonna say it, but I'm gonna say it in an assertive manner. So I feel like just me being incarcerated, it helped me to gain skills, people skills, and I've been around so many different personalities. So when I'm able to communicate to the people in a good way. So like as far as when I first came out, like I always wanted to share my story. You know, I always wanted to talk about issues, things that's going on in the world and in my world, you know, and just really get into tap into raw emotions. That's what I like.
So tell us about that first piece. I'm trying to get to it. Tell us about that first piece that spoke about your raw emotions.
Oh, the first piece, it was called Same Me.
Uh-huh.
Different space. That record was recorded. It was like basically I didn't change, but I upgraded myself. I became a man, but my morals and my integrity is still intact. So that was the message that I came out with.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a good receiving from it, but it was my peers. I'm
right.
trying to get past my peers, you know?
That's the easy part when you get to your peers, because you're doing your thing and they're saying, okay, it's good. But then you'll get one genuine one, maybe a older friend or a relative will say, man, that's not going to make it. Or somebody that might really know music, they might have told you that, well, that's not going to make it, or take it slow, or go back to the drawing board. Did you have anybody that maybe would tell you that?
Yeah, I have.
would he be on the call on this Zoom?
I plead the fifth.
Somebody got to speak up and say something. I see you smiling. Go ahead and say something. He's smiling.
It's definitely difficult because we give our heart and soul to the expression in music. Most people, most artists, give so much of themselves in the writing process and just the whole thing. It's like a lot of artists will have post production anxiety, meaning after they're done with a project, they're just totally drained and they don't like to listen to the music that they created.
Yeah.
So you give a lot of yourself, is my point, and that's very personal to artists. So it's difficult when you are without emotion critiquing that music. People, people can resent that. It's difficult to hear sometimes. So, but it's part for the course, you know, it's part of the process of that growth, you
Yeah.
know, and it only makes us better in the end. So,
You know, I believe that when you're doing it from your heart, it works out. Sometimes you yourself will know that, well, that's not quite it. So I'll throw it out anyway. But, you know, you don't want to just throw out something that maybe you'll regret that anybody even ever heard it. You know what I mean? So when you did that piece, and how'd you really feel about it to go to your next work?
Me, I at this moment, and then at that moment, I'm as confident as I've ever been.
Yeah,
So at that point, I felt like, okay, it was like a pause then, because
right.
that's when I wanted to see what I could do, but I was so wrapped up into a relationship,
Yeah,
so I didn't really pursue my music like how I should have, you know. So at that point, I was eager, I was hungry, but I had somebody in my ear telling me something else. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, oh, I'm listening to all of this, and I'm not pursuing what my heart is telling me. I'm trying to please somebody else, and I'm not pleasing myself. You know?
well, actually, you know, you came into your own. When did that actually happen? You flipped the script and came into your own and stopped listening to the angel on your shoulder, not the devil on your shoulder.
Um, Probably about maybe last year.
Yeah, yeah.
Last year,
You
I
know,
said,
you got you know, it's always the opportunity you can take in your own time,
right.
you know.
Sometimes I often feel like I don't got time, but that's not the case. You know, you just have to make do with what you do have.
Yeah. You know, there are a lot of people on the call that I know they're crazy about you. You know, they're on here supporting this call because you're on, and they may have some questions. And anybody has a question, they can unmute themselves and ask it and introduce yourself at the same time briefly.
Hey, what up? What up? It's your boy Kimarni, calling out of Columbus, Ohio. Big up to my ECMD family. Special shout out to Kermit the Superstar Maker for keeping me posted on things. And a big, very special shout out to you, Queen. Mwah. I love you. And you know, my prayers are with you. And I salute you for your strength. And I look up to you. I really wanted to ask, you were saying that it's like different now, and I understand that they changed the laws when it comes to the mandatory minimum. Like, I didn't kind of understand the difference in between when you got sentenced and the sentencing guidelines now. And another thing that I wanted to ask you, as far as doing the when you was incarcerated, I know you had the music to keep you going, but what else besides the music that you had internally that get you through something like that? Because that's a very long time.
Okay, so let me answer your first question. So the difference between my sentence and now is that the judges really didn't have too much power, and then they changed like how I was sentenced under the crack laws. And then when because of how I was sentenced, I was a career criminal. They hit me with enhancements. Anytime they put enhancements on your sentence, if anything changes or any type of relief, you're bound by your sentence because it's mandatory. It doesn't matter if anything changes. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it is. Because that's an enhancement. Like they give out enhancements. Like, say for instance, right? I have a felony, right? And then I get caught with a gun, and then they pick me up. The feds pick the gun up. They're gonna use that felony to enhance me for more time. So that's why it was different. Because once that was charged, if you didn't get sentenced how I got sentenced, if you didn't have any enhancements, you would be able to get relief. You feel me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the main difference is, like, I understand the crack laws. Like, have the crack laws changed to where it's a little bit different now?
Yeah, they've
Like,
changed.
can you explain that to me? Like, the difference in between that more so?
So now when you go into the ratios, because 100-to-1 means for every gram of crack cocaine you have, it's equivalent to 100 grams of cocaine. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. I didn't even know that. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's crazy that you be out here, you don't even know that.
So you could have a gram of cocaine, even though the feds aren't going to pick you up for a gram of cocaine, but you can have a gram of cocaine and that's equivalent, I mean, of crack, and that's equivalent, that was equivalent to 100 grams. Now they dropped it down to 18 to 1. So your levels and your sentencing and all of that changed drastically. You're not getting, people were slammed, especially African Americans. We were getting slammed hard because of the crack law. And they made it that way, the 100 to 1. So like when Reagan and Nixon passed all that stuff back then. So now they changed it when Obama and all them came in. And you have family against mandatory minimums. They were all fighting to change that. So that's the difference.
Okay.
Against mandatory minimums worked against the guidelines. The guidelines is what they mostly didn't want. They wanted to first take the discretion of the judges away, because the judges were just going crazy, sentencing black people one way and letting white people go home and all that kind of crazy stuff. So then they said, okay, we're gonna have these mandatory minimums and set up this guidelines, something like you have like a ounce, a big Ziploc bag full of powder, and then you have something like, I guess half the size of this, a crack, and you get more time for the crack than you get for that, for the whole powder, and so they changed it and brought it down some, but it still didn't make sense. And after they brought it down, because I worked on that 18 to 1, it brought my sons home two years early, took 4 years off the other one's sentence, but you still had double digits. You still had double digits that you did. So when they wanted to take the discretion away from the judges, they gave it to the prosecutors, and the prosecutors was like buying a brand new red shining Lamborghini that you didn't use the brakes at no stop sign. They just went crazy. They told the judges what to do, and that just was crazy, and it's still like that. It eased it up, but it didn't change it a lot, and when Julie started mandatory minimum, she thought it'd take 5 years and she'd get it done, because her brother got a little charge, so she thinking that this mandatory minimum is crazy. But it's still, that organization is still going on because it still got work to do. So it's still unfair sentencing, always unfair sentencing for the blacks. But now they have guidelines they have to go to that they break those, and it's still rough and not fair. But for you to get career criminal at 20, even with mandatory minimums, that's insane. I know guys that they've been doing, I know a guy that been hustling 60 years. He got charges going in and out, in and out, in and out. He did 23 on the last bit, and they never gave him career criminal.
What exactly did, if you don't mind me asking, I'm not trying, but that career criminal, that's very interesting to me. I have 2 questions for you, brother, if you don't mind, or for the panel. What can we do to bring awareness back that those crack laws are still around? Because I knew about it, but it's not as real. It don't get as real to you unless you kind of going through it. And if you can elaborate, not to go into your past, what exactly did you do to become a career criminal? What exactly was you doing, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't mind at all. I was, let's just say, I didn't have the best upcoming, my mother overdosed when I was 5 years old. My father killed himself when I was 12. And my grandmother that took care of me, she died like in a week before my father killed himself. So I really didn't have nobody. So the streets pulled me in. And I was in the streets, doing everything that the streets have to offer. Like I was selling drugs. Every case that I've ever got caught for was a drug case, because I was hustling, because I was hungry. So it was due to the fact of my record. So this is what happened. And I want to say this to any young boys out here that's listening right now or whatever, like probation ain't the thing. We think that, because we going home that, it's all good, and it's not. All you're doing is setting yourself up for failure, because, we think we're not going to do it again, but we're going to do it again. You know what I'm saying? So, and we don't want to do it again, but what I'm saying is, they use this stuff against you. I'm trying to answer your question. They use your old prior convictions against you. So because I had prior convictions, all you need is 2 or more to become a career criminal. And it doesn't matter what kind of felony it is. If it's a felony, it's a felony. And they're going to use it against you, and they're going to use it to enhance you. So that's how I became a career criminal. And all of my drug charges were petty sentences. It wasn't kilos. It wasn't big pounds and pounds of cocaine. It was really petty stuff. And they used that against me. And I didn't have, there was nothing I could do to fight it.
Wow. Now looking back in hindsight, because coming up out of that era too, and I was very fortunate by God to be able to make it through, man. I sometimes, that put tears in your eyes when you make it through that. And back in hindsight, I don't want to say I had a too rough of a beginning, but I did. But I had my mother, and she taught me better. And I would go around and I would say that I was taking care of my family, and I would make a lot of excuses of why I was doing the thing that I did. At what point in your life did it come to where you realized that, like, all right, man, this is, was you incarcerated? Was you out? Like when was that light bulb? Like, damn, like, though that I'm in this situation, because nobody never told me this, that I'm in control of the good and the bad. And my mom told me, but I ain't listening. It's a woman, but the situation that I'm in is based off of the decisions that I made. When did you learn that? When did that hit you?
I mean, it hit me when I came to and I got my time. Cause I've done bids. That wasn't my first bid. I did a couple bids before that, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm getting out, I'm back at it, But then when you get smacked like that, it's like, oh, whoa, I gotta sit back and reflect and understand what this is. So at that point in time when I got incarcerated, that's when I really understood what was going on. And then I started seeing things different. Things started changing to me because I grew up in a household eating cereal at a table. Even though I had my grandmother there, she was enabling people's habits. So I'm sitting at a table eating cereal, and they're getting high at the table. Crack, they're shooting up, they're doing whatever. And I'm seeing people hustling. So I'm thinking, like, that's what it is to do. Even though I seen people go to work, I seen more of people doing this. So it was like, oh, and in my mind at one time, I thought that was the way I was going to survive. I didn't know what a job was. I didn't believe that I was ever going to get a job. You know what I'm saying? So it was kind of crazy. But when I came to is when I got incarcerated that last time.
All right, thank you, bro. I don't want to take up too much of your time, man. Salute.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, Kimarni. Is Kimarni or
Kimarni? Yes, sir. Kimarni.
I have a question too. I have a question. I'm multitasking, working the board, promoting on Facebook, Instagram, all that. But anyway, so I may miss some things. But you mentioned about, your tragedy. Like I'm now understand why it says tragedy on your information that Big Nino sent, because you have had a tragic life. But you mentioned one thing. You say when, as far as like everything that happened to you, then you said the streets brought you in. It's like explain to people. Even though you had extreme tragedy, explain to people how easy it is for the street to bring you in and how to think or give a thought process before you actually jump in for people that's not there already. Can you give them some kind of advice? Even with like I said, with the major tragedy you had, I mean, that would cause anybody to lose their mind. But can you explain to anybody that's, especially like Kimarni, because I know he probably asked a question because he's going through things himself. Not necessarily right this minute, but he's been on several calls. He's mentioned several things about his childhood, and that's why I'm asking you that question from the standpoint of how a young person, male or female, cannot get into it, even though they may be close to it. Just like I grew up in a very poor neighborhood, but I never jumped into the street per se. I'm not gonna say I never smacked nobody upside the head, or I never put a knot on DJ Punch's head or nothing. But I'm just saying
that's no crime. That's no crime.
I didn't do anything, So I just want you to respond to that if you don't mind. You or Big Nino.
Yeah. So this is what I would say. Like, I won't say that there weren't good people around, but because I was so out of my mind mentally, just dealing with all of that stuff so quick, I didn't see it. And what I would say to the young people is this. I would say that if you do have somebody that you can go talk to and you can express yourself when you feel these urges to do things, or you feel the need that you need somebody that you're down and you're out, you need to go find that person, and you need to express yourself immediately, you know, and feel the emotion, release it, and watch it walk away. Like, it helped me so much, like, to lean on people after the fact of going through all of it. I realized how valuable, like, good people are, and to have them around in the times of need. So I would say to those young people, and then you don't have to follow trends. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to do what the next person's doing because they're doing it. Like, do it for you. Like, always be true to yourself. Straight true. If you stay true to yourself, you'll never ever have anything to worry about if you just stay true to yourself. And then you got to listen to those two people on your shoulder that mommy activist was just talking about. Like, trust in God, believe wholeheartedly that he's gonna make everything okay. Cause that's one thing, and that should have been the first thing I said. Like, God was with me. Trust me. Cause if God wasn't with me, I wouldn't even be sitting here on this thing talking to y'all. And I'm blessed. I'm truthfully blessed for that. But as far as the kids go, I would say, if you have a talent, take the time and put the effort into it, because it's going to pay off if you do the work. You have to do the work. You know, everybody wants stuff for free and fast. But when you get it that way, it goes so fast. Trust me, I blew through so much money. So it's like, you got to cherish, you got to hold on to things that are concrete. You know what I'm saying? Not things that are just going to blow in the wind. And then when you do get some money, you got to know what to do with it. So financial literacy, I would say, learn finances quickly in a hurry.
Okay. I have another question or so. One is that as you sit here right now on this Zoom call that's also broadcasting live on Facebook to the whole world, you seem very calm. And I'm sitting there from the standpoint is that normally someone that's had the tragedies you have, even though I know that was a while ago, usually they're very angry, you know, had like still some kind of like hate in their heart, so to speak. You know, somebody said the wrong word, they'll, you know, smack them or something. You know, why are you so calm now in your life? Or are you just being calm because you've been professional and respectable on this call?
I have my days. I won't say that I don't have my days, but because I spent so much time alone, I got to practice humility. And I've been without, and I've been in so many different situations where I'm just blessed to still be here. So I'm just happy to just still be able to put a smile on my face and put my feet on the ground, because I shouldn't be there. I really shouldn't be here, but I'm still here. And because of that, I'm happy and I'm appreciative. So gratitude and humility has kept me. So that's why I'm able to just be so humble. But trust me, I have my days and I've been some places and I don't even want to see that man. So I just try to keep that all the way to the left. And I know I have control of myself. You know, I do a lot of rational self-analysis, and I learned this through the drug program. And when I was incarcerated, it's the 500 residential hour program. I did it. And they teach you how to think about things before you actually get into the situations or in the moment of the situation. I learned how to think for other people real fast, especially in the federal penitentiary or in the lows or wherever you're at. You have to think for people because respect is everything, and you could lose your life. It's not a game, you know, and that will humble you. Some of the things that I've seen have humbled me to make me this calm. It's like, okay, life ain't that bad. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you something, bro? Just being able to relate just from your story. We was talking about, kind of like things that we learned in the streets. It was kind of like how when you look around you, it seems as though that's what everybody's doing. And it seems like if you don't do it, you're a bad guy. Like if you ain't selling drugs, you're a bad guy. If you ain't got the Jordans, you ain't got no girls. If you ain't got no girls, no clothes, like you really nothing. what do you think that we can do to possibly teach kids that that it's I don't know how to phrase that question, but what can we do to change that that mind frame that not only that I had, but that you had also? What do you suggest that we can do to change that in the future?
See, me, I feel like because of the tragedies that I went through, I was like, I had a direction in my mind switched. So it wasn't a more so of me being a follower. I was just like, oh, this is what I'm doing. And I didn't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say is this: the only way you can change that mindset is by the people you keep around you. You know what I'm saying? And it's tough when you have nobody. It's really, really tough to do that. But you have to seek those people out. I can say that now. Like, I would be one of those people you seek out. I would be one of those people that you come kick it with. Let me help you out. Let me show you what I know. You know, I believe in, like, you know, mental health is a major thing that nobody ever talks about in this country. You know what I'm saying? And it all starts at the mind, and it's the mindset. So it's like, if you can revitalize and nurture the mind, then you can these kids can come up out of that. But but it's going to take a lot of work to do that. But the average kid out there right now, what I would say is, whatever you have a passion for, stick to that. Stay focused on that. It's so many kids out here that would rather go pick up a gun, but they know how to do graphic designing. They would rather go pick up some crack, but they know how to, you know, they're mathematicians. You know, they can do anything. You know, it's just like and then us as an adults, because we as adults, we have gotten lazy with kids, and that's the truth. Look at how social media runs kids now, truthfully. So we got to try to steal them back from that, and that's just a task that's going to take a joint effort. And mental
I
health.
got a question for you. Peace, money. With the, I understand the trauma you're describing in terms of what you dealt with growing up. But can you talk about the trauma that you may have experienced during your incarceration or even after your incarceration in reference to not only what you experienced, but, you know, but like what you've seen and what you may have had to deal with to survive?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some things. Like, I'm not gonna sit here like act like I'm some tough guy. Like, you get scared sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what the outcome could be, because they have big race wars in there. They have gang wars in there. You know, they have a whole lot of stuff, you know, that can transpire. Like, say for instance, like, they go by states in there. So there's no, like, you know how you might have inner city conflict with people and stuff. There's none of that. It's like, you're Massachusetts, you're Illinois, you're Mississippi, and this is what it is, and this is your number. Like, Massachusetts was 038. So when they had, if somebody had a problem with somebody from 038 and they made it a bigger issue, then now, you know, everybody has the problem, and you didn't even have nothing to do with it. So you could be somewhere working out on the yard, minding your business, and don't even know something happened, and it can happen that quick, and somebody smack you in the face with a 20-pound weight plate or something. Like, seriously, I've seen people get really hurt, bad, injured, and lose their life in there. So, like, that's traumatic in itself, just seeing stuff like that right in front of you, you know. And I mean, I had to fight too, you know. So it's like, it wasn't like, it's not easy, but it's not, if you mind your business, you're okay in there. If you stay away from gambling and you stay away from certain things, you're okay in there. You don't have to worry about.
Are you okay, or you get through to another day more often than not? I mean, are you really okay?
I mean, it depends on where you're at. See, I wasn't in like big time penitentiaries like Terre Haute and Big Sandy and all those places. People were dying like every quarter, like every 3 months. They're averaging like 3 or 4 murders. Like, they're killing the CEOs and all that in there. I wasn't.
But what I'm asking is not, I'm not saying, are you physically okay, but I'm saying, are you okay? You know, emotionally, spiritually, you know what I'm saying? You know, and, you know, psychologically.
You're really not. I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh yeah, I was just perfectly fine. No, like you remember the stuff you saw. You replay some of the stuff you saw. You wake up, you have dreams, you have nightmares, all type of things happen. Some people get to the point where they start taking medication. I took medication, but I didn't want to take medication. You know, that's not something that I wanted to do, so I stopped. But there's people in there that take that and they're going.
You know, another thing, you know, to note a lot of times is another thing to note sometimes is the levels that you're on. You have USP, you got FCI, you got FCCC, so the camp is the lower level. A lot of times in the camp, there are very little disturbances because people are short and they're going home. But in the USP, you got lifers, multi-lifers and all this kind of stuff. And they don't have a problem because they don't see their future. If they got, I know a guy got 5 life sentences. He got 5 life sentences. He out of New York. He going down when New York got a problem, you know, or the Bronx, somebody from the Bronx, whatever, you know, or somebody from DC, they got a problem. They run into it. They run into it to check it. So you know that you don't make a problem with these people, you know, and if you're from there, you kind of stay out the way, but you still got to stand up for yours because if you don't, you got a problem. But with the time you had, when did you go to like FCC? To the camp?
I never went to the camp.
So you were in FCI?
Yeah, I ended up doing some things and getting in trouble and stuff like that, into the hole and all of that. But I ended up most of my bids I was in mediums, and I went to the only low that I went to was Fort Dix, but it's not really a low at all. I think that's one of the most, like, I think personally it's one of the most dangerous jails in the feds. So, you know.
Well, Fort Dix is a dangerous place because of it's New Jersey and all of them. If you got to be less than 500 miles away from home, so you getting people from New York, Philly. You know, you getting the Jersey, you getting a treacherous cruise coming in there.
So you have Philly there, New York, Camden, everywhere throughout there, Trenton. Then you got the Bronx, Harlem, Brooklyn, Boston. I'm from Boston. Providence. You got like all these different places are there. Connecticut, Hartford. So you know, it was but why I say it was so dangerous is because the security, the correctional officers, they stay downstairs in a bubble, and there's no cameras or in there, and there's 12-man cells, so it's wide open. Like there's no cameras in there. Like people was getting beds in there and all that. So like, you know, it wasn't like you had to you barely slept. Like you sleep every movement, you're up, you're waking up. So it's like it was definitely like psychologically, all of that plays on you. And then just the time and just the fact of going through the process of court, that plays on you. That wears you all the way down.
I mean, you know, and I know they have different programs like anger management. People get a lot of programs so that they can, when it's time to leave or something, or they get their assessment, I forgot what you call it, when they got to look at your PSI and see what you came from and see what you did to improve yourself. You know, you got all these classes that you take. And a lot of them guys really get into some good classes, but it doesn't matter if you get put in a hole for a violent move, that you just simply protecting yourself. You know, I understand that.
They don't care about that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're at the lowest. You're the lowest of the lowest. You really don't matter at all. So anything you do is going to be held against you because they give you your good time up front. So you have all your good time. They're hoping you do something.
Right. You got to remember your good time's not the even numbers. You know, they fought for the people to try to get 54 days, you know, a year, and they want to only give you 47. And that's not even the math. That's not true math. You know, so you all messed up in there trying to count your days. They done took your days. They're going to take 5, take 10. Man, it's crazy, and I understand that, but you made it out. You know, when you were in, did you meet some interesting guys you might would like to collaborate with or anything?
I met a lot of good people. One thing I could say about this, and I just hate that we all locked up and thrown away, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful, beautiful people in the prisons, you know. And then they got a lot of our brothers and sisters locked up.
Right.
And so many amazing people. Like, there's people in there that could run Fortune 500 companies.
Exactly.
That have invented stuff that I see people now doing. I'm like, he already did that. You know what I'm saying? And it's really real like that. And I'm like, wow, like I met some amazing people. But I was incarcerated with Beanie Siegel was in school kill with me when I was there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an opportunity to meet him. So, you know, I'm a fan of his music. So, you know, I didn't want to be like a groupie because I'm not one of those. So I kind of like fell back from him a lot. But I had a friend that a friend Donnie from Philly. Mm-hmm. And you know, I used to always be in the ciphers in the yard. So, you know, he ended up pulling me up one day. He's like, hey, come here. He's like, hey, Beans, this one of my young boys. That's how they talk down in Philly. That's one of my young boys, Cannon, you know. And he's like, yeah, man, you know, spit that joint for him. So I did. And his response though, it was kind of cheesy. Everybody else was hype, and he's sitting there all dull. Like, yeah, that was all right. I was like, man, you hating. But but I said one day, I'm gonna see you again one day. You know what I'm saying? And they won't be here. And I hope that you remember, you know. But I was with PD Pablo for a little bit. I really never spoke to him or nothing. He was quiet. He was different. And who else was there? Boston George was there.
Mm-hmm.
Ja Rule. I met him at MDC Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. He was on his way up for that tax evasion thing. And I met a lot of people. It was a lot of people in there. It was a lot of good people in there. I met a lot of strong. There's people here now with me that I still are with me today. From all, like, you meet some of your closest, best of friends. I can go anywhere in the United States and I'm good. So, and that's a beautiful feeling to be able to have those type of connections when you need to get somewhere or you might need something.
And you know, I know PD Pablo. I remember when he was starting and he come to DC, his mother and his wife would be with him. You know, and he could kind of remind me of you when outside of his music. You know, outside of his music, I could kind of picture y'all being friends, being kind of similar. You know, he was a nice guy, pretty nice guy. You know, and his music was new and fresh in DC then. You know, and people weren't really doing all the things he was doing. So they were catching on to it, you know, but it's exciting to meet guys when they have to be real. They don't have that entourage. They ain't got their team. They don't have their jewelry on, you know, and they ain't got, and they ain't like some places let them have some of their tennis shoes, but most of them, you got to buy what they got in the commissary, you know, and they have to be like each other. They have to be similar. Although they got their rep on their back, but you know, you got to be a man in there. And all them songs don't mean something if something break out. And you in Brooklyn, in the jail there, that's a mean spot, man. I mean, you know, you have to be real when you go in some of them joints. I know what Fort Dix is, you know, and I know New York, they got some rough jails, period.
Yes, they do.
You know? But you know, you made it through, and I'm so happy to see you and see your smile, you know, and the calmness you generate. You learn when to use that. It's easier to be calm than to be off the chain.
Right.
You know, and you know, you kind of don't want to let people push you like that. You got some more questions, Kermit?
Yeah. One is that when you're in prison, like you were in whatever prisons you was in, how is it determined who is good, so to speak, that people really, you know, respect or don't mess with, and how does it determine who gets picked on? And when a person go in there, you know, like you know, you see like in the movies or TV shows, like when they're getting off the bus, everybody, you know, getting off the bus and whatever, people look at them and saying different things, or this one look like this, that one look like that, you know, whatever. How does the person, you know, how's the first night when you wonder, like, am I good? Am I gonna get picked on? Is somebody gonna come try to stab me in my sleep? How does that go down?
right? You know, mama always told us snitches get stitches, right? You know, I know I know my grandmother used to get mad when I used to try to go run and tell something. So as far as that aspect, like when you come in there, I'll give you my experience. When I first came into the federal system, your state where you're from, they coming to see about you. They coming to find out what you're in there for, you know, if you told or not. And then that's going to determine whether you're good or not. And they're going to offer you things. And if you take those things and you're not good, there's consequences behind that.
right.
But if you are good, then you're golden. You know, just do your time. You know what I'm saying? And people gonna talk to you, they're gonna make sure you all right. All of that. You just gotta be you. But if you're no good, you ain't got nothing coming. But there are some people that you got these big time dudes that got money, and because they got money, they'll harbor them. They'll keep them because they have money so they can extort them. But other than that, like where I come from, we don't believe in that. Like in Boston, you're not living on a compound if you're no good. You can't. You just won't. You know what I'm saying? So that's how that goes. Like you have a certain amount of time to get your paperwork in. Like it used to be 30 days. I think it's like a week now because you can get it faster now. So by that time, if you don't have that, then even if, say for instance, it took over that time, they might give you an extension. But if you don't get an extension, you got to go to the hole. You got to go up top. That's what they call it. You got to go check in. And when your paperwork comes, if it comes, you can come back out.
What do they do with people? This is not my second question. I just thought about it as you was talking. What do they do with people that come in and supposedly like either abuse kids or abuse women or something? Is there a certain, like, do they get addressed because it's known that they are a bad person in that respect? Or do people just, or does everybody just do their time and they do their time?
Nah, ain't no doing no time. If you got that type of case, you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, me personally, that don't sit well with me. I couldn't live with you. So like they don't live on compounds, like, and if they do, it's like some type of protective like custody or something. But they
So they put that person in your cell, then you're gonna be in the hole in a split second, right?
I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I love kids of the future. Like I'm definitely going to the hole.
I hear you. My last question before you play your music is this. You know, I've been in the game 47 years. I don't know how much Big Nino will tell you, but I actually lived with him in 2005 up in Flint, Michigan for a year. And so he's the only one on here that really knows me and my history. But anyway, you know, I talked to a lot of young people. I started mentoring them when I actually joined Nino's church when I was up in Flint in 2005, 15 years ago. And I know, you know, a lot of young men, you know, when in the street or whatever, they want to rap or whatever. My question to you, and that's a concern of mine, is that I'm noticing guys, okay, if they've done time, it seems like everybody think if they do time, that's like a resume to be a rapper. I don't know how you look at that. And did you see guys in there while you were in there talking about they were rappers or whatever, really didn't have a clue about what the hell they was talking about, but they were rappers because it seemed that that's a big thing to talk about once you get out. Hey, I just did this, now I'm a rapper.
I know a lot of them. I know a whole bunch of them. So, you either got it or you don't. That's the thing. Like you have it or you don't have it. And I feel like you shouldn't use that for a badge to say that's you. I'm not proud of doing 10 years. I don't ever want to say, oh yeah, I did 10 years. I'm not proud of that. They took my life away from me. So well, does it give me some type of credibility? I guess, but I don't want that to be what I'm remembered for. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's the approach. I think if that's what you're doing, then you gotta wholeheartedly be yourself and take that approach. Don't use that. Now, if that comes into play when you're doing what you're doing, then yeah, if that's really you. But if that's not what it is, then you know, put that to the side. Some people don't need that type of attention. You know, I don't want that type of attention. I'm still regardless, because I did my time, I'm still a target, point blank period. So I want to even try to push that away from me. I talk about it in my music because it's my life. It's stuff that I've been through. I try to be as factual as possible. So as far as that goes, I don't think that's the way. I don't think that's cool. And there's nothing dope about that. Like, that should be the least that you should try to hide that. You know what I'm saying? That's what I think personally.
I asked that question because most of the guys I know that use it, they use that to prove that they're tough or something. That's what I'm noticing. Like, yeah, I did this, I did that, I smacked somebody around, I did this. They're using that to show that they're tough, like, okay, you know, but then you find out, well, what'd you go to prison for? Oh, I broke out the window to the neighbors next door, or I stole somebody's purse. You know, you'd be like, huh? You know, so it's like, that was my point. I'm saying I'm using it for like the wrong reason. Like, dude, what are you talking about? You're not even, you know, you shouldn't even be a criminal. You should, you know what I'm saying? It's like, who are you? You know,
like, I use it personally to say, don't do that. Please don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not about destruction. I'm not proud of the stuff that I once did. Do I rap about it? Have I, some of the stuff is like feel good music and all that? Yes, because that was a time in my life when those things was going on and they was transpiring. So that's the emotion that comes out of it. But as far as me just trying to say, oh yeah, I did this, I'm a big time drug dealer, yo, I smacked this one, I shot this one. What is that gaining me? All it's gonna do is make a person like, man, I might not want to mess with him. I might not want to deal with him. He might shoot me. He might steal something. You know what I'm saying? So like, why would you want to have that be something that you want to be like, an image that you want to portray out there for yourself? Nah, that's not right in this act.
Well, I'm just saying, if a person doesn't have self-confidence, then it's like that. Like, say if somebody else is there, they're trying to convince you that they're tough. Hey man, you might want to hang around me because I'm tough, you know, whatever. You look at them like, huh? I mean, if you tough, you ain't got to tell me you're tough. I'm gonna just see it. You know, we're gonna be in here for a minute, so I'm gonna see what you are. You ain't got to come give me your bio.
You're gonna get tried.
Hey, can I say something to you? The tough guys, they got somebody tough for you. I promise they do. Everybody tough, got somebody tough for you, and they're waiting for you. I promise they. All of y'all that are gang and all that, they waiting right on you. They waiting for you. They hoping you coming in.
So the ones that come there staring everybody down and acting like, you know, you better not look at me, and all those guys, they just waiting on somebody like that.
Like when Beans was in there, he was quiet. I'm not no disrespect to him, but he was humble. You didn't see all of that, oh, I'm gonna do this with the 50 and the 40 or none of that. He was real quiet. And that's how you gotta be. You don't gotta be tough. They looking.
There's a difference between entertainment. I think there's a big difference between entertainment. I know there is entertainment and reality. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I think that especially in our community, we get the two mixed up. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, like, you know, someone from the street, including someone like Beans, is smart enough to know where he's at and how to move. You know what I'm saying? When you're making music, you know what I'm saying, and you're talking about that, it's entertainment. And they're two very different things, you know, so.
But speaking of that, I guess that's my key, to play the music. And I have two songs here. I have Black Boy Down and Freedom Ain't Free. I'm gonna play Freedom Ain't Free first. I'm gonna play Black Boy Down. Oh, of course, that's after I share my screen and everything first.
Hope y'all enjoy it.
If not, I'll let you know.
One thing I've been listening.
What's free? I mean, can you define it? Do you really even got it? I don't think none of us do, truthfully. We spend our whole life chasing cheese on the wheel. Think about it. Are you really free though? Like, just really think. Every morning you gotta get up and bust your ass. You know what I'm saying? Bills keep coming, they don't stop coming, do they? So how you free? You wanna party, them trying to make it to a key. My freedom ain't free, you in line for the Yeezys, it's the verse I'm trying to read. My freedom ain't free, learning off of E taught me how to be a G. My freedom ain't free, at one time I was blind, now finally I see. My freedom ain't free, oh say you can see, I don't feel like I'm free. Lost my mama, my daddy, I got caught up in the streets. They had nothing to eat, they had nowhere to sleep. Me and Snizzy was licking, we used to hop by the trees. Auntie Tonda, I love you, we was safe in the east. To the we was starving to eat, into the drugs and the guns. Out here searching for funds, living life on the run, trying to get to a ton. We was taught to be silent, so we was holding our tongues. You can't be talking too much, cause them indictments will come. Admit that I was a bum, man, I come up from none. I need dinner and dessert, I'm sick and tired of the crumb. You wanna party, I'm trying to make it to a key. My freedom ain't free, you in line for the Yeezys, it's the verse I'm trying to read. My freedom ain't free, learning off of E taught me how to be a G. My freedom ain't free, at one time I was blind, now finally I see. My freedom ain't free.
All right, now we got Black Boy Down, Money Row.
Yeah. Rest in peace to all the black men that we lost in America. Monroe Jackson. Looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down, looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down. We live fast, we die hard. Got my mama screaming out, why God? He wasn't supposed to die, Lord. All he had was his iPod. And that's a shame. To take away the pain, she ran to cocaine. Public school teacher still trying to make a change. Single parent mom, cause he locked up Jane. My donor, all he cared was about the corner. Sipping Hennessy, smoking marijuana here in Long Park, out in California. That's a federal prison. See, my father figure was missing. A woman can't raise no man. No, that kind of bonding is different. My mama, she tryna protect me. She struggled to get me to listen. I wish I would've listened, cause I wouldn't be laying here. Looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down, looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down. Wet dreams, cold playing, sugar honey got my attention. Sipping on the tea from the slip, about to get it with the game, I'm a cook. And I keep seeing these cop cars, but I ain't paying them no mind. Yesterday I got the honor roll, man, I ain't committing no crime. Harassment far from my mind, don't see color, I'm blind. Respectful and I'm kind, I play ball and I rhyme. But my mama told me not to be over here. It's dangerous and used to be over here. The same place where he caught them 36 years. It's junkie infested, been this way for years. What she said went over my head. You can't tell me nothing. He said hard head, make it soft. But mine must be made out of cotton. Shorty, her body is rocking. Got me open, I'm scheming and plotting.
Didn't know that a pistol was popping. Didn't know that a body was dropping. Didn't know I would fit the description. Didn't know I'd be in this position. Put your hands up, hands up. Mr. Officer, why are you tripping? I didn't do nothing wrong. And by the way, my name is Sean. And my mother's a teacher. Can you please tell me what's going on? How come your weapon is drawn? And how come your anger so strong? And why are you so damn aggressive when clearly you see that I'm coming? Looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down, looking up in the sky, back on the ground, fighting for air, chest full of rounds, body getting cold, the radio sound. We got another black boy down.
Okay, I know Kimarni can't wait to jump in, so go ahead, Kimarni.
We got another black boy down. Hey, what's up, y'all? Hey, yo, what's up, man? It's your boy Kimarni out of Columbus, Ohio. Big shout out to Kermit the Superstar Maker for putting this down. Much love to the Queen Mommy activist. Now, my first impression, that first song, man, that thing almost made me cry, man. And it's been a long time. I haven't heard, really hip hop in that type of form, or music in that type of form, because I believe that when you do music, your voice is just a complement. It's another instrument, basically. You try to blend in. But that, I believe it was a saxophone. Man, that saxophone was just, that took me away, man. And, the storytelling capability, what you are is you a storyteller. So I understand, what I'm saying, what you're doing. And the Black Boy Down, man, that's very, very, it's just very deep, man. And I can see the pain in this, coming through in the songs. And I can see that your life transpiring through some of your songs, but I can also see the visuals through your songs. That's how I know that you storytelling in your music, man. And I look to hear something else from you too, bro. So I definitely salute you, man. But that first track with that saxophone, man, almost made me cry, man, for real. I was about to start rapping with you for a minute there. But man, much love to you, man. Much love to you. Keep doing your thing, bro.
Yeah, I respect that. And to speak on the Black Boy Down song, I feel the need, like that's something that the world need to hear, like right now. Cause like I wanted to depict a picture of, like, you always see a tragedy, right? But you never see the tragedies within the tragedy. Because if you listen to the song, right, the mother just lost her son. The father's in prison. He never got to make amends to his son because he was never there. You know what I'm saying? Now the mother lost her son. Now she's weak. Now she's resorting to using drugs. And then, there's a flip side on the other side, because that cop, you know what I'm saying, he has to live with the fact that he just took a life. And that weighs on him too, whether or not people realize it or not. Just because you pull a trigger and you kill somebody, like that weighs on you when you can't sleep at night. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that I wanted to bring out for like just not to depict a young boy getting shot. You know what I'm saying? But everything that happened and the underlying factors of it. But
that was dope. The way that you did it, I could break it down. You know what I'm saying? To you, break down the storytelling capability in it, because both of the songs was telling a story. So I know that you're gonna tell a story within your music. But the visual with the Black Boy Down, say down and looking up at the air, it's like that was very, you could kind of see, you know what I'm saying? So I salute you on that, and I definitely salute you for being able to change your life and being able to use music as a form to keep you out here and to keep you positive and keep you rocking with us and stuff like that, man. So I salute you, my way out of Columbus, Ohio. Anything you need from me, man, reach out to him, and I got anything you need from me.
Gram's right there on the thing. It's just Ro. It's just Ro. Just hit me on the gram, send me your info, DM me, and we could work.
Man, let's work, man. Hey, that's saxophone.
Crazy, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know what blew me away on it was that hearing it is like, I tell everybody for the last 2 or 3 years, anybody that does what's different is who's going to be successful. And that totally blew me away as different. It's like, I ain't heard that. Like, I've been doing this for 47 years. I mean, I go back to having an in-store with Curtis Blow and Von Mason and crew back in like 79 and 80. So, and then, you know, hip hop, you know, as we know, it started on the East Coast. And it's like, you going back to when people like really telling a story. Like, you're not even talking about like what these fools talking about now. I'm the toughest guy out here and I'm this, I'm that. It's like, this dude actually, like, it's almost like the guys that were back then that were doing like Kimarni said, the jazz, kind of like rapping over a jazz beat. Like, I guess a Tribe Called Quest, some other groups, I can't think of their name right now. But those kind of groups are the ones that really was getting through with messages. I mean, you had the strong messages like Grandmaster Flash and stuff like that, or, you know, that kind of stuff. But you had the other messages too. And the guys with the softer messages actually seem to be making the most money or getting the major label deals for some reason. I noticed as well, because I come from retail in the music business. So I noticed that. So it just blew me away to see like, damn, this guy, you know, I would expect you to come out here talking all that nonsense, you know, like we were talking about earlier about, oh, I'm tough. You know, if Uncle Nino say the wrong thing, I'm gonna smack him upside his head or whatever. You know, I was more so expecting that than somebody telling a story and explaining something and music that's, you know, music and stuff to make you feel good. That caught me off guard. Put it that way. I'm out. I'm putting myself back on mute, my man, because you can.
Okay, I want to hear from some of the queens. We got some queens on the line. Come on, weigh in with me, divas.
I don't bite.
Good evening. This is Angela Antoine out of Hampton, Virginia. I am the founder of House of Dreams Reentry Consulting, where we help women that's transitioning out of jail or prison to be successful individuals back into society. First off, I commend you for coming back out here and getting back on track. And I wanted to weigh in when you was talking about the mental health piece. Because mental health is something that we don't talk about in our community. And I heard Kimarni say, what can we do to get to our youth in the community? And it dawned on me what we have to do. We have to lend that listening ear. We can't criticize them. We have to be able to let them talk and not over talk them. Like for myself, I have an open door policy with the young ladies that I deal with at my church. The only way that I will tell anything to their parents or anyone is if they're talking about suicide or something about harming someone else. I leave that door open because that's what I learned growing up, because I didn't have that doorway. I didn't have anyone to talk to when I was going through, when I was molested and things of that nature, because that kind of stuff got swept up under the rug. So I didn't want anybody else to go through that, you know. So we have to leave that door open for our young men and our young women to be able to talk to us, and especially with social media, especially with our music, whenever you're doing music, because they listen to whatever is being played, you know, and they live out that because they think that's real life, you know. So giving it to them real and raw is, I mean, that's what they need, you know, because we can't sugarcoat anything with our youth, you know, because they mimic what they see. So if all they see is violence, that's what they're going to do. So I definitely commend you, because I know what it's like to be behind the walls and to be able to have that, to feel like you're going to break down and keep going back and forth. And then when you have that epiphany that you got to get it right this time, after you have those tragedies on the inside, because I lost my grandmother inside and that was my backbone, you know. So after a while you get that, and only God can bring you out of that situation. So, and that music, I'm telling you, I don't listen to hip hop like talking about it, but I will listen to that. I would definitely listen to that, you know, especially that Black Boy Down. I would definitely listen to that, because that story you telling is real. And you definitely right. People don't think about the officer side whenever he pulled that trigger and killed somebody, because definitely he's having nightmares, you know, unless he's just in case he don't have no heart, that's the only way he won't have no nightmares. Right. But most often he's going to have nightmares. I mean, he's going to struggle. He's going to struggle real bad, especially if he has any type of religion within him. So, but I definitely would listen to that. And I commend you. I definitely commend you. And mommy, I mean, and she got you up here, and I mean, you giving it real and raw. And I definitely, and she knows I back her with whatever she does. So she picked the winner this time. She got a real winner this time. I mean, I definitely commend both of you guys. Salute to you. And mommy, you know I love you. So I'm with you. So whatever I can do to help get the word out, to push this stuff with you, I'm with you.
Thank you so much. Follow me on Instagram, Angela.
Everybody put their information in the chat. You know, everybody put your information in the chat. And Angela, put your Cash App in the chat. We're gonna peel some bankroll off of here tonight.
Yes, ma'am.
And put your information in there too, as well, Ro. You know, so everybody will have your.
It's right there on the screen. It's
on you. Okay.
It's just Ro. Thank you, Mama.
Okay. You know, and you know, when we talk about these things, any other queens want to weigh in? Okay, I give it to the kings. Back to the kings. I know, Michael J. Calhoun, you got anything you want to ask or add? Because he's playing with his screen.
He definitely was listening intently, so I'm interested in seeing what he heard.
And playing with his
screen. He
trying
to unmute himself. There you go.
Yeah. I'm feeling the stories, the street tales, things you experienced. It really touched me when you said you were, as a kid, I guess you were eating cereal at the table and people were getting high at the table with you. That's some deep stuff right there. For you to come out of that, because that's ingrained in you when things like that happen, because you start thinking that's normal. You know, thinking that's the way everybody lives like that, you know, except, you know, you don't see it on television like that, but in your world, that's normal. And the street sucked you up, but you came out good. The music you did right there is really good. It reminded me of like some Gil Scott Heroin, you know, some Last Poets, you know, it was deep, you know, because it wasn't about so much the BPMs. It was like just free form jazz. And what you were saying was freestyle, free form, but it was rhyming. It wasn't poems. They weren't poems. They were songs. So I was feeling it, man, brothers. You know, anytime you need any production, anything, come see me, man.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to come see. I'm going to talk to Unc. We're going to chop it up.
All right now. So
that was the multi-platinum Grammy Award winning Michael J. Calhoun.
You know, when I listen to your music, I listen to both songs. I like them for the same two reasons. Because they're like, you can kind of get in your solitude. This gets into their head, and some things are going to ring true to a lot of people. You know, it used to be when you heard things like that, it would be jazz in a place like Blues Alley they had here, where they had artists really close up, and you get the music, and you know, people didn't clap, they clicked, you know, because they appreciated the sound and they wanted to appreciate the instrument. Because it may be live, but it would be a great entry or a great sound to go inside a movie, a documentary or something like that, because your facts are true. You know, and a lot of people have sat there when they did that in the house. And a lot of times people's households became dope shooting galleries, and you know what I mean, and crack houses and all those. And it was just like the kids, you know, were there, and the kids made up their mind that they're going to get up and go to school. They're going to try to, if they can get back home and have something to eat, or they're going to go get something to eat down the street or around the corner, or they're going to steal something, but they're going to manage. Kids get together and manage. Kids of that same, you know, in those same lifestyles, they get together and manage. Some will survive it and some will go to jail. But the ones that don't go to jail a lot of times are able to pick up a lot of good things and hold on to those guys in prison. You know what I mean? I learned that these kids now, I want to say kids, but they're adults when they came with that crack, because that's the worst thing that came out. That's the worst thing that ever came out was crack. You know, Amen. And kids learn they grew up on, if they could get oodles and noodles, get in a place you didn't get rained on, and make it from there. Yes, you know, and I've seen a lot of cases like that. And I've seen people, I know adults that survive like that. And you would, unless you talk to them, you would never know it.
Right.
you know, you would never know it, you know. But one thing I want to say about, you know, I'm hard on snitches. Snitches do get stitches, they get burned. But you know, when you come in the joint, you used to have to show your PSI report or your indictment had substantial, it was stamp it big and hard, substantial assistance. So when you get in there, you got to present that thing. If so many snitches start coming in the joint that they named the precedence report in the indictment, they said it was paraphernalia. And if they see you with yours, you go in the hole. They stopped allowing you to have it because it had that substantial assistance. Some guys would get their wives or girlfriends or somebody to copy it and white out substantial assistance and put it in. But when they white it out, it might white out some of the names and different stuff. So you know that thing been fixed. But you know, that's a hard thing. It turned around. And so many informants, the guy that don't inform, he almost in trouble. Because you got these the snitches out there. But guys are different. They gotta be real in them joints. You
Mommy,
know,
some snitches get riches,
and they do.
and they get put into a government protection plan, and they've been living good. So it goes both ways sometimes.
Right.
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
You know, now you don't even have to get in trouble to go work for the government and go set nobody up.
Right.
You
get that paycheck.
Get paid. And know all the evidence, all the information, and just go knock people off.
Yeah.
And that's so terrible. But you know, we live in a different time now.
But I appreciate your music so much, and also you sharing the way you did. And you know, it's amazing to see you with the calmness.
Right. Thank you.
You know, because I understand that. And we talk about things in prison that are offered to you that a lot of people don't take and use it because they don't feel like being bothered. They think it's not even worth it when you go home. Because when you first get in the first 5 years, people showing their butt doing crazy stuff. But when they realize they got to sit down and this ain't the way you're going to be able to show on the street. You know, because they have a lot of remedies to exhaust. But that's amazing. They would do you career criminal. You just 20, what day? You don't have a career. You're not old enough to even have a career. If you're on the street and you had an occupation, you couldn't really say this is your career. But I understand that.
And we would have to travel back to the 80s when Nixon and Reagan decided that they was gonna do whatever they did, and then Bill Clinton didn't help anymore, and then Obama didn't help anymore. You know, so it's like, you know,
it's like always public safety because the black man's the beast, and it's always public safety is the question.
Well, I think it really speaks to how far they really went to destroy us and our young people. And you know, like when young people are young, they make mistakes 2, 3, 4 times. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they don't, it doesn't always register the first time you make a mistake. So to have someone at 20 years old that hasn't murdered someone, you know what I'm saying? You know, be facing consequences that are, and you compare them 100 to 1, you know what they're trying to do and who they're targeting, because one is for poor people financially and one is for people that have money, you know, when you talk about the drugs. So, you know, I mean, clearly, you know, and we, you know, and when you're young, you don't really have it to really step back and kind of look at the whole picture. A lot of times you just act out of your circumstances. Well, even when you're older, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, but the one thing I wanted to add to that that you all spoke on is police officers having you know, the aftermath of them killing someone, because I actually had a friend who was a police officer, and she was in a situation where her partner was, you know, gonna die, and she ended up using lethal force, and she ended up having to come off the force, you know, because that was a very traumatic thing and something very difficult to live with. So everyone that pulls the trigger definitely isn't some animal that is just totally detached.
Right.
But there are people that are doing things for different reasons. And we've clearly seen that. You know what I'm saying? Whereas someone that they're unfamiliar with or been taught their whole life to look at in a certain way can do something. And then you see a white suspect who it seems like they're literally begging, who can have weapons and all kind of things, but they're not going to be quick to pull that trigger. They're going to give it every opportunity to try to avoid lethal force. And we don't get that benefit, clearly. Right. So, you know.
That right there in itself is just, it's so much like of a topic to talk about. It's so broad and so long. We be sitting here for the rest of our life talking about this, because the simple fact of it's about, it all goes back to the mind and the beliefs. You know, these people are taught to believe that we're no good. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they see us, we're no good. We're up to something. I deal with it still today. I can go outside my house right now and walk down the street, and if the police see me walking down the street, they're gonna slow down, just because of who I am.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that in itself is still a thing. I remember coming home. I did not want to go into a court building. I was so, like, I had anxiety because I did not want to be in a court building. And a friend of mine had a situation. He wanted me to go to court with him. I did not even want to go in there. Right. And when I went there, there were police there, detectives and stuff that knew who I was. And he looked at me like he saw a ghost. You know what he said to me? He said, "I thought they gave you life.
Right.
I thought you wasn't never coming home." Like, so that's the thought process of them. Like we're nothing to them. And then, like, you know, we always get into this thing with good cop, bad cop. If we could talk good cop all you want, but you're still with the bad ones, and they're still killing us. They're still doing whatever. They're still playing drugs on us. They're still locking us up. They're still doing whatever. So I have a problem with that whole situation, because I see the cool cops and all of that, but you're not cool when they're stomping on my neck or they're shooting me multiple times. You're sitting there watching. The cool cop is no longer there no more. So, like, it's just it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's a real tough. That's a real touchy subject, man. It all goes back into the mindset on both sides. We've all been trained to believe and think a certain way. So when you're trained and you're taught to think a certain way, that's how you're gonna be. It sucks, but that's what it is.
You know, I interviewed a guy that was he was a police officer, and he retired and he went into some kind of reform. And I think his name was Fred Shaw, and he had this the organization. He trained police, and he trained them, and so he knew the mindset that he trained them to be all right with murdering, to be all right with killing, and how if they had to pull out, a lot of them, he didn't promote them pulling their weapon out, but if they did, how it would impact them. You know, and so when they did it, a lot of them would say, you know, probably in their mind, that, you know, taking a life's not right. But on the other hand, they've been trained to accept that because that's part of their job. So, you know, some people it's going to stick, some people it's going to roll off their back. So you got post-traumatic, you know, post-traumatic syndrome, you know, not post-traumatic stress disorder. You have a syndrome there, you know, and a guy come out and he got picked post-incarcerated syndrome, and then he don't want to deal with, you know, a police that may have already been doing drug cases. Those police been doing drug cases, man. I could tell you some stories about them. Yeah. You know, and the thing about it weighs other hand, and it's just like the mindset, how somebody thinks about somebody. You know what I mean? You know, it's like how they think about it, and it's okay because you got 6 in one hand and half dozen in the other. But I want to move it on to something and ask you, what's next?
Oh, Can I jump in for some feedback?
Okay, go ahead.
Huh?
Is it good? Is it cool if I jump in, Queen Mamiaki?
Oh yeah, go ahead, baby. I didn't know. Go ahead. You can. We're gonna still get to that, man. We still gonna, you ain't gonna get out of it, Money Row. You ain't gonna get out of it, but I'm gonna let you know, DJ Punch. Introduce yourself, because you something else, DJ Punch.
I appreciate it. I'm DJ Punch, Indianapolis ATL, Mixaholics, Team ECMD, record breaker. I do management. I do a lot of different things. I'm not gonna talk about everything I do, but definitely the first song is the one that stood out to be more. and just overall from the testimony that I've heard tonight and just the interview side of things, it's kind of hard to just, determine what somebody can do based off one interview. But I see like an executive role for you maybe down the line. You know what I mean? Instead of being out front with it, I can see you doing some executive type of things, behind the scenes and things like that, and helping folks come into the game. I can see you doing that type of thing. Because that's kind of based off what my movement is, where I try to help street individuals to give them some kind of hope that they can do something else besides what they may be doing or not doing. So salute to Mommy Activist for the platform, Kermit the Superstar Maker, the whole team, and salute to you for jumping on too, bro. I enjoyed your story too as well. Your whole testimony, it was great. I rock with you.
Thank you, man. I'm familiar with you. I used to be on the call. When I used to be on the calls, and I had went through a few things, but I'm back upright.
Well, Punch need to show you his wall so you'll see how he's advanced since you used to be on the call. He had to show you what he about right now. 2020 going to 2021. Come on, Punch.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, you can do it right now. You can cover up that now I put it on your head if you want to. You can put a band over there. Yeah, show us the wall.
I'm in the studio. Give me like 10 minutes. Give me 10 minutes.
Okay. We'll be gone in 10 minutes, but okay. Go ahead, Mama Activist.
Okay, anybody got to make any comment? Because I want him to tell us before we get off of here what's next. Anybody got any comments or anything? Go ahead, Skeeter Weed, you got something? Come on.
Yeah, fill up that 10 minutes, Skeeter Weed, so I can get upstairs.
What's up, Mr. Money Row? It's your dog, Skeeter Weeds. What's up, Mommy Activist team, ECMD, Felicia, everybody else, Mr. Price. I just want you to talk about the probation. You know what I mean? How probation is, and how like you could have maybe 10 years probation and you got 1 day left and you violate it and none of it count. And then I wanted you to tell us about the difference about state and the Fed. What's the difference? And then how they let you out? How you got to be when you get out into society? How do they let you out? Like what is the thing where they say, wait, now you able to be into society? What is that?
So how the process goes when you initially get out of the federal or out of the feds, you have to go to a halfway house. It doesn't matter. You're not going to the halfway house. You're going to the halfway house. So then that determines how much halfway house you get. You can get anywhere. Some people don't make it to the halfway house because they just maxing out the time. So when you go to the halfway house, you're looking anywhere from a range to a zero months to like a month to a year of halfway house. I happen to get 6 months. I got 6 months of halfway house. So when you go to halfway house, you meet your probation officer. They have like this like fair where you meet and they tell you all the things that probation does and all that. So you see them. Then once you see them, they tell you to report to them after you get out the halfway house. So once you get out the halfway house, you report to them. Once you report to them, your probation starts, the time starts. It doesn't start when you're in the halfway house. So it starts then. Then with the difference between state and federal probation, like federal probation, it's their job to make sure that you're successful. That's one thing I can say about them, about the feds as far as that aspect goes. You're gonna have a job. You don't have a choice. You're gonna go to work. You're gonna go to the programs that they put you in. If you have to do counseling, they're gonna put you in counseling. All these things are gonna be set up for you. They help you with money. They help you with getting different funding. And they have like these different places in the city. Like I was in Boston, so they have all these programs that they hook you up with. Now in the state up where I'm from in Mass, they just send you out there. You ain't getting no help, no nothing. They let you out and you out. You're not going to the halfway unless you have parole. And in the feds, they don't have parole. You know what I'm saying?
All right. I got one more question. I'm sorry to cut you off. Hey, I'm just for the listeners and for the people that are listening that don't know what the streets are. Can you tell the people that don't know what the streets are? Like you said that you got caught up in the streets. Can you tell us, like, tell the people that don't know what the streets are, like, I know it's people like ourselves, you know what I mean, people without parents, but just for the people that don't understand, can you just elaborate on the streets, please?
The streets.
You know, you said, you know what I mean, like, I got caught up in the streets, you know, people like the streets, you know, you get to dumbfound people. Just elaborate, you know.
So you don't want him to be got caught up in a traffic jam, huh? You want to know what it is.
No, I mean, like, explain to the people that's listening that, you know, some people ain't from the streets, you know what I mean? Some people got two parents, and some people, you know, some people don't have a father, you know what I mean? Some people just have one parent, and some people don't understand, like what a career criminal is. Like, nobody means to be a career criminal, you know what I mean? Nobody plans on that, you know what I mean? So I was just saying, like, you know, just elaborate on that, like how it's all accidental, you know what I mean? Like you go outside, it's people like yourself, you know what I mean? People like me, like parentless kids, you know what I mean? Like, I just wanted you to just tell the people that don't understand the street, just give them a broad
It sounds like you're
understanding.
making plans right now because you're taking notes and stuff to see how to be in the street and pretend you're not. But go ahead, buddy, bro.
Hey, Skeeter Wee, I definitely get you. So dig it, my guy. This is what I'm gonna say to you, right? I feel like this. The streets, for me, they would, and it's sad to say, I say that God was my mother and my father, but the streets were what were my guide through that, because I didn't have nobody else to. I felt like I didn't have nobody else, and there was actually nobody there to say, "Nah, come here, you about to go right here." No, you know who was there? The dope man was there. You know, the jackers, the trappers, the robbers, the pimps. That's who was there. You know what I'm saying? And that's so cliche because that's what we have in every ghetto. It's no difference. The only difference on every corner is the slang, the way we talk. No difference. You got a fried chicken spot, a liquor store, and a church on the same corner in every ghetto in America. It ain't no different, I promise you. Right in Boston, it's the same way it's in Philly, it's the same way it's in New York or anywhere else. Atlanta, New Orleans, it's all the same. So, so as far as that go, like the streets don't have no love in them. There's no love for you in the streets. If you think that the streets love you, you're sadly mistaken because they don't. They don't love you.
Yeah, and I just want to say this, I'm gone. And that second song, I understand you ain't trying to make no money off that. You just trying to give a message, and I appreciate that. That's strictly message, man. Exactly. So appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Hey, hit me up on the gram, man. I wanna continue to rap with you.
No doubt.
Okay, anybody else want to ask anything? Because I want to know what's next, Money Row. Okay, it's time to give it up then. Go ahead, give it up.
Okay, so right now I'm working on trying to put out a record, and the record is a song that me and Unc is trying to get ready. It's called Got to Go On. So right now we're focused on that, and I'm actually a part of the Primax Media family. So I'm in the process of helping with other things too, other artists, like getting their videos and stuff all like that. So I'm pretty busy with that. I work on the side. I work at a phone store, and then I do this, and I cook a lot. You know what I'm saying? So
well, that's good. I mean, you got it going. You're in the right path. You calm and settle with what you do, and the more you do, the more you're gonna look like a DJ Punch. Go ahead, Punch, show off.
I see him.
You see, what is he doing? Show your stuff off, Punch. Man, this is the hardest working DJ you ever.
I was
messing.
I was trying to find my black tape. I'm sorry, I found it. But what am I doing again? I'm sorry.
Show them tracks, man.
You showing us your wall, man, so you can see when he used to be on the calls when you was a nobody. He want to see who you are now.
I'm still the janitor. Let me see. These are the number ones right here, and then the rest of them that the whole team. And salute to the whole team too. We nominated for the Southern Entertainment Awards for Best Music Service, Best Industry Service of the Year. Industry Service of the Year. The team is nominated for that. So hopefully we bring that home. You know what I'm saying? Salute. And get on Clubhouse, everybody. Get on Clubhouse. I'm telling you.
Yeah, this is my little work. You know what I'm saying? I'm working. I'm trying
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I gotta go.
We proud of you. You got to put that up on your wall so everybody can see it. Every time you get on, you got to show it off, man. Because that thing it's contagious. It'll multiply.
You see the one I got the same people, but you see mine is the newest record.
Yep.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I don't even show mine off. I just the ones in the office, them the ones I show, but Kermit make me show the ones.
I'm showing mine now. Y'all see mine, right?
Yeah, we see yours, Skeeter. That look real nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yours is nice, Skeeter.
Yeah, you see how it just holds up on the wall like that?
Oh, that's nice.
Like that. That's what, DRT right there.
I like that.
You got the best one.
I like that because you could change it back.
Hey, not only that. Skeeter we got is white, so we know it's right.
It's pure. It's pure. Let the white folks say it. It's pure.
Right.
Is Kiana still on here?
Kiana?
Is Kiana still on?
Yes, I'm here.
You know, you always have some good input. Come on, tell Money Row what you're thinking.
I like it. I just want to hear more. I don't have much to say.
Oh, got you. Okay.
That's probably one of our kids muted it.
Hey, Kiana, we got a Clubhouse meeting at 8:15. I'll ping you. Salute. We've been working that room heavy.
Okay. Yes, definitely. I've been kind of getting caught up in the system with that. I gotta work on that better.
Oh, we going heavy. Let's go. Tuesday. ECMD call. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I think your girl gonna go heavy upside your head in a few minutes too.
Oh.
No.
DJ Punch.
Yes, sir.
I got take my Instagram so I can follow you on that. I want to send you some music.
It's DJ Punch 317. It's right there.
Yeah, I got you.
I ain't gonna be. I don't know when I'm gonna see it. I'll be on Clubhouse. I'm talking about. I'll be on that all the time.
Yeah, I keep hearing about that. I'm about to go on there.
I don't be on nothing else no more like that. I'll be on Clubhouse and that's about it.
I ain't say no more. I'm about to hop on Clubhouse because you're the second person that said that.
Yeah, ultimate networking. Ultimate. And I've been telling people about what we're doing with this call, the Tuesday call, and the Monday call. So I'm trying to get them established to what we're doing, and they loving it. So
how can I find you?
To have way more people.
How can I find you?
Same thing.
Yeah, all right.
Same thing. All my stuff the same.
All right.
You know, I want to thank everybody for getting on, you know, and also Money Row, you're amazing. And I see big things coming from you, already things coming that are new and different. And, you know, I like things that are I want to say mind benders, things that make you think and make you go on. When you hear that instrument playing, you stop automatically because you say, what's that? Because you expect something else. You know, and then in the lyrics, because people need to listen to the lyrics. Everybody needs to send a message. You know, everybody can talk about, you know, the physical crazy things and stuff, but when you give a message and a nice sound where you can sit down and have conversation with everyone, not just with the promoters or DJs, but with anyone, you know, sitting at the dinner table, they could play that and it would be a conversation. Anything you want to say, Kermit?
No, I'm good. You know, hope everybody jump on Tuesday, 9 o'clock. We got a good show coming up. We got a young lady all the way from Paris, France. It's gonna be on. We got somebody that's from the Bronx in Atlanta. Mike Beasley, you know, a multi-platinum producer is gonna jump on. See what he's talking about. I hope he's not talking about his album cover that got him holding a shotgun on there. Well, that's not what we're gonna be hearing. But yeah, that's this Tuesday, 9 o'clock. And then of course you all know with Queen Karen, G is every Sunday. So we hear every Sunday at 6:30, 8 o'clock. That's every week. So that, you know, we got that. Then we got ECMD this Tuesday. Then the following week you always got Mixaholics on Monday. Then the following week you got ECMD on Tuesday. And the following week you got Mixaholics on Monday. So that's all we need to know. And I'm on mute, ready to get out of here.
And I want to thank all my sponsors. Go ahead.
want to just say, I want to take the time to just thank y'all for even having me. Superstar Maker Kermit, I enjoy you. I've enjoyed you since the day, you know what I'm saying? The first call I met, and I've heard a lot of great things about you, you know? And Mama Activist, I actually really, really thank you for having me on here, and I hope that we can have many more conversations, and I look forward to that. And everybody else with your input and all that, I really valued it. I thank you. I hope I answered your questions to the best of my abilities. I hope you got some understanding out there, and that's just all I want to say.
You know, I want to thank you so much, because I mean, you gave us your time, and that's what I value most of all, and telling the truth sharing. You know how, like I say, the charge is not important, it's what the time did for you, or did you do the time? How'd you handle it? Because people need to know how this goes on, because it's reality, it's real stuff, and it changes. Because in your time where you have you saying people max out, then they had stopped people from even maxing out. Say, no, you ain't gonna max out, you can go to halfway house so you can get money. And people don't realize if you got 6 months in the halfway house, you're probably doing 3 and paying for that 6 on a bed that you can't go back to. But now you got this COVID, I don't even know how they doing that. They sending people to home confinement. Some people don't have a home to go be confined in. So it's a lot of things that going on. And like I tell people, what you hear here, or now what you see here, don't let it stay here. Share it with somebody, because somebody needs to hear it. It's good for you and good for me, so we can share. And you're with the family now. You got something you want to know? Come on Sunday. Come on Tuesday. Come on Mix a Hall and blast it out and tell them what's happening with you. Because my thing is, a new trend in broadcasting leadership started with me, Mommy Activist and Sons, getting the truth out, getting the facts, because I'm not afraid of that. You know, I've been through too much to be scared of some stuff. So, you know, we get it here and we get the truth and we help people out, you know, and I can't imagine any of these guys not being a good lane. You know, it's like we go in our lane, we get to the intersection and we get it together, and we go from the intersection to work some more. You want to say something?
I got a quick question. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt. I got a quick question. You was in the zone. You was in the zone right there.
That's right.
You was in the pocket. You was in the pocket, Mommy Activist, right there. I know how it is when you're in the zone on here. That first record in particular, I don't know about the management situation or anything like that, but is that song available to be used? As far as, I'm putting out a mixtape in the next 5 days, 5 or 6 days. I want to finish this in the next few days. But if I could get that record and a drop, I would definitely give you a free slot on the mixtape, just because you're here with the family. You know, that's what we do. You know, I do that for the culture. So if you can make that happen for me, hopefully I can get you on the tape that I'm dropping this weekend.
Okay.
The first record in particular.
So Punch, so this is what we're gonna do when we get a chance. You know, we can go and we can have a conversation with Nino, you know, and we can make that work.
Oh, okay. I gotta go holler at the OG. So that's easy call right there. Easy call. Okay, easy call. Okay, for sure. I'm definitely doing it now. You know what I'm saying? I'm definitely doing it. I didn't even know that. So I'll definitely do that since it's Big Nino involved with it.
Family affair. Hey, Mommy Activist, listen, you got a platform.
Look, we're gonna end the call. Wait a minute, we're gonna end the call here. This is the best call ever, because I'm the best at what I do. I only had the best on here. Now this is gonna end the Zoom, but we're gonna have our after the mic, kind of behind the mic after the show, quotes and notes. So don't hang up. You know, I appreciate all my sponsors and supporters that do that for me. You know, that we keep on to lifting everything higher and making 2021, I'm already in it. We're going to have full agenda. Everybody got the agenda, and we're going to follow through in 2021. So we are ahead of this. Thank you.